for the win. We go racing tomorrow, and after a week off of O'Reilly Auto Parts Series competition, Connor Zilic and Shane Van Gisbergen both are back in the field this weekend driving for Junior Motorsports and ready to go to work and chase another road course win. Glad you've joined us on a beautiful afternoon from Sonoma. NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series practice and qualifying rolling onto the Speedway now. Race coverage, of course, tomorrow afternoon here on the CW. And glad to have you with us. What is the challenges and uniqueness of this racetrack?
Well, it's just how, well, first of all, how pretty it is. Yeah. But the elevation change is the big thing here. You have massive elevation change going all the way to the top to bottom of this racetrack. And thanks to our friends at iRacing, we can take you sort of for a virtual tour. And it starts down the front stretch into turn one, this left-hander. So if you restart and you choose the left side, you're in the preferred position until you get to the top of this hill, and now you're going to turn two, which is a right-hander. Tough to get the power down. This S complex 3 and 3A, downhill braking zone into turn four. One of the toughest corners there. You'll use all that asphalt, but you got to get back right to get slowed down for turn 7. This is primarily a first-gear corner for most, although SVG has been using second there occasionally. I'm not sure how he does that. Fast set of S's here through 8 and 9 to the fastest corner on the racetrack in turn 10, which is third gear, and then down in the tricky, tight turn 11. They added the walls on the inside. It used to just be sort of tire packs, so it gets very condensed down there, and the lap finishes back, obviously, on the start-finish straight. 1.99 miles, tons of elevation change, and one of the most picturesque and scenic racetracks we have in all of NASCAR.
It is always a treat to come out here and look out our window here, and you look at the California countryside and the mountains that surround this facility, and we've been pretty spoiled the last couple of weeks between the Naval Base at Coronado and up here in Sonoma.
I spent, like a lot of the NASCAR community, the whole week out here.
Yes.
It's been beautiful. Coming up from San Diego up to San Francisco. Super cool. What a great experience when you can have sort of a West Coast swing like this for so many of the teams and drivers. Obviously, there's some teams who were in a position where they had to go back to North Carolina maybe to get ready. Oh, Sam Barrett uses all the racetrack off of 10 right there. But for those that could stay out here and make a trip of it, it's really fun. One thing to note is it's a little chillier today. For unusually sort of cold, I'd say, for being up in Sonoma this time of year. It feels like we're more down in the Bay Area, down in the actual San Francisco proper, where it's usually freezing, but also very windy. So if you see cars get off in the dirt, you're going to see that dissipate really quickly because there's some high gust winds right now.
Sam was the focus of one of the moments of the race last week at San Diego. This big crash that was triggered when he made contact with the inside wall. Oof, and it doesn't get any easier to watch.
It doesn't. So I sat down with Sam today and talked through this whole situation. Even talked to Austin Hill for a while about it. And right there, you can see. Now, the camera you're on board there is up on the roof, right? The driver is far lower than that. And that corner, when you were by yourself, was incredibly tricky. It's blind. It condenses on the exit. It's very low grip if you get off away from the inside wall. And so many drivers will tell you in those restarts, they were following the car in front of them. I know Sam, to his credit, took full blame for that, which it was his fault. But he beat him. I felt he beat himself up a little bit too much. Talked to him about it, and he said, I get it that I was following the cars in front of me. I had been very conservative, and in that one restart, I thought, hey, we're in position. It's time to go for the lead here out of this. Maximize this restart. And he said, I just took too much, and obviously that was the result.
And one of the things that was interesting when we were watching that back kind of in real time, the replays last week, we had this on board of Austin Hill, who was right behind Sam. Austin did that himself
he hit the
last year at Phoenix on the oval. So it's you may think that it's something that seems like it's it's an obvious thing to not do, but it is easy to do if you misjudge the entry by just that much. And let's check in downstairs with Kim Kuhn, who has more on the 41. Hi, Kim.
Hey, hi. I also talked to Sam about last weekend's incident, asking him specifically, was it hard to get over that mentally or physically? And he said, well, mentally, I was probably over it late Sunday, early Monday. He said, but physically, man, that wreck hurt so bad. It took probably until late Tuesday to really feel better in terms of what his body was giving him after that wreck. Despite that, though, he did tell me staying out here on the West Coast, he spent 4 of the 5 days playing golf, so it didn't keep him from the links. As we look at Sonoma, though, he told me this is never a place he's gotten along with. He said he's always felt like he's been a 3rd or 4th place car, never had race-winning speed, but he's hoping he's got pole-winning speed here this afternoon because it's Sam's birthday today. The team's planning something of a surprise for him later, but he said there'd be nothing better than to cap off my birthday with a pole win here at Sonoma.
He turns 23 today, and Parker, you and I were talking about this in the garage. It seems like he's been in this garage for like 10 years. And he's 23. Yeah. Yeah, half a decade.
Half a decade. I said that to him. I said, you didn't realize that? You're only 23? I also wished him happy birthday, but he was pretty funny about that. He's like, I know, it feels like everyone says I've been here forever. And I was like, that's a long time. In race car driver years, like dogs, that's a long time. It's like a lifetime to be in a series as long as he has. But there's a reason we've seen him, I feel like, improve every year and really probably bring some of the best performances of his career as of late, is that he has that time in these cars. He is maturing and growing up, and it's tough to see someone like him who's been here so long and realize he's only 23 years old.
Sheldon Creed had a good week last week, finished 3rd at his home race. One of about everybody that had some sort of contact or damage or thing to recover from at some point during their day, and they were able to recover quite nicely.
Yeah, he was pretty pumped about that. Obviously a home race for him up there in San Diego. That was really cool. We were talking about the event over there today and just how big an event that was, how cool it was. His friends and family had a great time as we get this great look at his foot cam here. Left foot braking. Ease back in the throttle. See there, even just a couple laps into practice, out of 2, you ease in the throttle because the track's slipping away. Then through these S's, it's a down the throttle. Then once again, ease back to full throttle. Top over the hill, hard on the brakes into 4. You'll see another hard braking moment down here into 7. When I say hard on the brakes down to 7, that's probably just under 1,000 pounds of brake pressure at that point of the track. Then through the S's, it's usually whatever works. You see him tap the brake a little bit. Some drivers just lift. Some of that's just trying to make sure the pads are against the rotors. There's a lot of ways to tackle those S's, and now into turn 10. It's about I'd call a medium brake or a 50-50. You sort of get to 50% brake, and then one of the hardest braking zones down here into the hairpin. You saw through the dip in the track, you'll alleviate a little brake, then get back to full brake, down to the apex, and ease back the throttle. You see, the way you apply throttle here is just unique in a stock car in that almost every place that you're trying to apply the throttle, you have to ease into it because the track is either falling away from you, it's a little bumpy, or for whatever reason, you just can't commit the throttle here. Drive off is something drivers always fight.
And it's interesting with some of these high-speed transition corners like the S's on the backside of the course. I'd have to imagine you're using the brake pedal, too, to a certain extent, to just get the car, the weight transition to the right side of the car that you want, and there's a philosophy that is involved in just kind of getting the angle of the car right that's so interesting to watch that footwork as these guys that do it well.
I can tell you're a dirt racer because you talked about angling it left to right. That's definitely a dirt thing. On the road courses, it's setting the front versus the rear weight bias that you're describing. As we look at SVG, this Superfile number 9. Superfile just a couple weeks ago was announced as the title partner of the Trackhouse MotoGP team as well. It's the American MotoGP team. For those that don't know, MotoGP is like the Formula 1 of motorcycle racing. So cool to see a company come into motorsports in a big way. I think they've got a wonderfully bright logo. And Shane went by the alternate start finish line there and went P1.
Are you surprised?
No, not even a little bit. So let's see here. So right there, he stayed in second. This is a unique signature of SVG. So there's a couple corners there. Turn 7 and turn 11 that you would say would be first gear corners for about every driver who's driven a stock car until Shane showed up. And he we'll see if we stay on board with him if he does the same in 7.
Yeah, this is valuable onboard viewing for some of these drivers and teams to see how the expert does it. This is one of 3 tracks where he's never finished worse than 2nd in O'Reilly Auto Parts Series competition, so knows his way around this racetrack. Brent Cruz has experience here in other cars, but doing some agricultural racing here in the early moments of practice.
Okay, makes sense. So if they win now, probably start having some fall-off underneath. They're both doing 4 laps and still ran their best. Yeah, I probably lost a lot of speed at the beginning. I just kind of worked my way up to it, so I used quite a bit of the sticker up before I went. 10-4. I go back out, try to push that thing a little bit more. We got. All good. That's a 19 rolling out behind you. The 20 at speed is 50 car lengths behind him. Half more speed right here, rolling up the hill to 3B. No change, 4 to 7. To the 92, you can roll out. Go ahead. There. All right. So what is our biggest time off? Like, do we have one corner where it's like, hey, this is killing us? No, it's just little chunks everywhere. Alright, so you can drag when we're ready. Track bar also. You got all your pins in. You're good on the hood. No point on the track bar. Clear. Be up to speed. Finish line. He gains about a car length on you into 10. You gain it. You maintain with him right there. He gets in 11, almost the same as you. He slows it down a little bit. Looks like he's a little further to the right than you. Grabs all the paint he can with the right sides. You're only 2 car lengths back on him at start finish line 3.
There was some conversation of maybe it's starting to show a little age, but it's not showing that case right now. They're going faster and faster. This is the battle last year between Connor Zilic and Shane Van Gisbergen. It was a battle royale amongst these two. A lot of respect shown, but they went at it and they put on a show.
I think my favorite part
right here,
watching that back.
That was awesome.
That was coming to the checkered, that move right there. My favorite part of that, watching it back, was early in the race when they're racing each other and they come by here on the front stretch and Shane just does the thumbs up out the window to Connor, you know, while they're in the heat of battle. Just 2 guys that they race each other so hard, but the respect is always there.
And I think when you looked at that race, you know, Shane could have taken some liberties and knocking Connor out of the way, but he you know, was aggressive, but in a fun and almost playful way. Knowing Connor at the time, this was his main priority, was the O'Reilly Series. And for Shane, his priority was on Sundays, right? And the next day, he went out and won the Cup race.
Dominated.
So good karma, right? A little bit.
And they had gone to battle the week before last year. As another right front lock up there from Zilic. They had gone to battle the week before on the Chicago street race. And Shane had gotten into Connor. Just to provide some context there of what you were speaking of there in that battle there on the last lap. These two, everybody was pretty excited last week at San Diego that they were not in the field. And it's a different game, no doubt, when those two are racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Let's get some 00 Sheldon Creed radio.
I've got a brake issue. My pedal just went to the floor, and I think I smelled some fluid.
Well, everybody, if you smelled brake fluid before, you know that smell.
And it's normally, if it goes to the floor, that means there's an opening in the system. Sometimes a bleeder valve can come off or not have been tightened, and you'll basically just push all the fluid out of the system. That's when the pedal goes to the floor. Considering the state of that race car, it seems that he caught it somewhere good that you weren't going to, you know, because you can have that down to turn 10, and that race car will not be the same race car they're racing tomorrow. So, however he caught this, it was good timing, but definitely that's a concerning thing for this race team, and they'll have to look for that wherever that fluid is.
And a lot of times we hear drivers will say, you know, I've got a long pedal or I've got no brakes. They still have some stopping capability, but this almost looked like a situation where he really had no brakes because he was coasting down pit road, and you saw even that the team sort of had to catch the car there. So this is maybe more of a dire situation for Creed that they'll need to get sorted out. Let's go back downstairs and say hello to Carla Metz.
Hey, Dylan. Well, confidence certainly high for Brent Cruz this weekend. It is his first career start on this track, but he's been here 5 times before. Of course, he had that Trans Am win just last season. He said, I've been here before the repave, after the repave. He said, I've raced Zillage here on this in the Trans Am. And, of course, he might be the only driver in the field that's actually excited about getting to race Connor Zillage and Shane Van Gisbergen. Of course, he's led in all 3 road courses this season, but he really goes back to that race at Watkins Glen, led 32 laps there, and he said, I really felt like I was faster than Connor and better than SVG.
Yeah, they've been so close on these road courses, and it just to the 9 in the 1 car. He just kind of has to get to the end of the race and be in position to take it to him.
I thought last week was the week, right?
Yes.
You know, it being that he probably was next in line behind in SVG and Zillage in terms of speed on a road course in the O'Reilly Series, and it didn't go to plan, right? But it's been circumstances that take him out. At Watkins Glen, they have a tire issue in the final run when he absolutely was the fastest and would have been right there in the battle for the win. And, you know, as you put, the speed is there, but now, as Colin mentioned, you know, not everyone looks forward to maybe having SVG and Zillage in the field, but they kind of do. And I'm going to tell you why, is that maybe it's this guy, Justin Allgaier, or Brent Cruz, or Jesse Love, looks at it and says, but what if I beat him? You know, because we're race car drivers, and we're just incredibly optimistic and or egotistical or something like that. I don't know. And we have that thought of, if I work at this, maybe I can beat him. And if I beat him, now I'm the best.
Yep. So,
yes, it's frustrating if you feel like they have such a leg up on you, but I'm just looking at the times right here, fairly close, under 2/10 separating the top 4. I think, you know, if there's anywhere that these O'Reilly Series regulars can take it to Zillage and Van Gisbergen, it could be here.
Saw Justin Allgaier exit the picture there. He's 4th right now in the 7. They had a tough week last week at San Diego. Jeff Burton off the pace here in the 27. Just trying to find a opening in line perhaps and getting up to speed. And here comes Allgaier up the hill in turn 1. They were talking to Andrew Overstreet today. They were changing shocks. They had engine issues in San Diego. It was kind of one of those weekends where they were just happy to get out of there.
Hey, so one thing on this car is we've been noticing this all year. Is they like to change what agriculture is on that race car. That's grapes.
That's grapes.
Yeah. So for the wine country.
I don't remember that last year. That might be a new thing.
We have to get to the bottom of this. Rick Brandt, if you're listening, is this the first time we've run grapes? I don't know. I don't remember seeing grapes either.
Well, obviously the growing process for grapes. I'd be curious if Rick is involved in any sort of grape growing with some of the people that he supports. I'd be interested to have that conversation. Justin gets around this place pretty well. I was surprised to learn 6.3 average finish here. Believe it or not, that's his best of any active track on the schedule. So He is getting better still, even at 40 years old on road courses and getting it figured out, as is Connor Zilic, another one finding the limit here in practice.
One car. 15 back. Clear. Just the one. You can get in behind him if you want. If you pull right, it's up to you. Here he comes. Clear behind him when he goes by. Here he is. Left side. Clear. All good. Remember, halt, start, finish. Middle of the back. Here. One just crossed start finish line right now. I believe it is the 32 car. It's like after pit road.
Copy. Okay. So I'm good up the hill. I just need to work on that center off of basically 2, 4, and definitely 11, sounds like.
Yeah, copy. They just put out the caution for wreck in turn 11. Yeah, I would say turn 11 is just your biggest time loss. Like your turn, yeah, I think it's technically turn 3 when you come up off to the first right-hander after the bridge. You lose like probably a 10th there and a 10th off of turn 7. Get back out, one stuck in the high over there in turn 11, so they'll have to reset everything up. Left to practice.
10-4, I feel like this is a lot better of a change. Just feel like I need to drive a little bit harder.
This is going to be a few minutes. They do have some cars already lining up at the end of pit road if you want to go there, or if Paul wants you to go back.
Yeah, go right down and get in line so we get a clean track.
Yeah, I want to try to get a little bit of heat in the tires because the first lap fire off was really, really good. It wasn't until 2 or 3 laps in that I started kind of noticing.
Yeah, some of those guys might be pulling off into their box in front of you, so just be eyes up.
Holy shit, the wall is moved. The concrete wall is, just like last week, just falling apart.
But that is the best sight to see, that he dropped the window net and is climbing out of this race car.
It was
frightening crash.
Yeah, is really good on road courses. Austin Green was fastest in practice last week at San Diego. Somehow came into turn 11 with a tremendous amount of speed. We talked about the brake issue that Sheldon Creed was happening. This is kind of what I was referencing. In that area, if you were to have a brake issue, this would be the result. Actually move that barrier like last week at the street course, essentially.
And going into turn 11, it's one of the faster parts of the racetrack.
Yeah, so here...
Oh, he did lose brakes.
Yeah, something's wrong, or throttle stuck, because, yeah, he's going into way too much speed. He's just trying to bleed that speed. It is one of the fastest sections on the racetrack. You're up in the top of the rev range in 3rd gear, and that car just... There was no slowing down, so some sort of mechanical issue there. Because you start braking way before this point, and with the amount of speed, you can see the car just continues into the corner of a tremendous amount of speed, almost propelling it forward a little bit. Maybe that could be something of a throttle stuck.
Yeah, you could see the right front. It looked like the right front was locked up, like he was trying to slow it down.
Yeah, you're right. There was a lot of smoke that was coming off it at one point. So, wow, that is a really scary incident.
2 weeks in a row that we've seen something similar to this, where these Jersey barriers here just get moved so far back, and we're hearing on the radio, lost the brakes. That's the report for the 87. So this is obviously going to be a bit of a lengthy repair process, not only get the car pulled out of this tire barrier, but also just make sure the wall is in the proper position before we get cars back on the racetrack.
Look at that. I mean, that is just like last week.
It is.
Right? These Jersey barriers that give way. Now, we pointed this out when we had the large wreck at turn 1 with Sam Mayer at San Diego. And one of the things, you know, we're at courses like this to have these temporary sort of Jersey barrier style containment is seeing it move at San Diego. I mean, that is just like last week.
It is.
Right? These Jersey barriers that give way. Now, we pointed this out when we had the large wreck at turn 1 with Sam Mayer at San Diego, and one of the things similar to like that, it does help a little bit there. I mean, this car is going to be completely destroyed, but in terms of just what the forces the driver's feeling, it may look terrible, but that's actually a good sight to see it have given way and moved.
And he was in there pretty deep, almost buried up to the cockpit there in those tires. Scary stuff here, but great to see Austin Green climb out of this race car under his own power, under red here in Sonoma practice. Scary stuff here, and he was in there.
The forces the driver's feeling car, and then that giving way like that, it does help a little bit there. I mean, this car is going to be completely destroyed, but in terms of just what the forces the driver's feeling, there.
I don't know. He was 22nd on the board right there. That was lap 10, and I didn't see it when it happened.
I think we were good because we got like trucked sideways, maybe tried to stop him a little more. I don't know. A lot of speed into the 11. It didn't back down at all.
Real sure there. It looked like one of those two.
Feel pretty good about being able to fix most of it. Think the adjustment will probably help too.
Copy. Do you think we're in the game here, or do I need to start getting after it?
I think we are.
Copy. Just trying to get a read where you're at.
And the bridge. And then they knock a little bit more speed, about the same speed in turn 2, but don't overroll the center to make sure you get a good exit. Copy, so they're pretty much just driving it in deeper to the bridge. Yep, connect the wall of the bridge where they're carrying the speed there. Okay.
No, so, won't have time, Val. Won't have time.
Okay. Good, Drew. I think I'm at about 3 more burns to my arm.
Baby.
Really different, and it puts the car in a bad spot with trying to keep all 4 tires kind of in the racetrack, and you have some things you can do as a driver to kind of keep the platform stable, but also you're relying on your teams to keep that car in the racetrack.
Sonoma's weird. Sonoma's so much fun. Sonoma is unique with a lot of blind corners.
Those thoughts. As we've discussed, one of the more scenic parts of the NASCAR schedule here in Sonoma, California, and always great to make our annual trip up here to North Central California. Look at Anthony Alfredo there in the 96. Both Viking cars so strong last week at San Diego. Parker Retzlaff was able to recover to 7th, and I thought Anthony Alfredo was going to be able to be right there in the mix as well with him, but got collected in that big crash.
Yeah, like your pace never changed. Like you ran a 1:18.1.
He's agreed to talk to us, so we'll try not to interrupt the team communication here, but I'll let you take the reins here.
Well, normally this is when we have Cam or Carla down there to talk to the drivers, but I'm going to try and do it right here. Let's see if he'll talk to us. Hey, Anthony, it's Parker in the CW booth. You got me?
I got you. How's it going, man?
Well, man, you guys were super fast last week at San Diego. Both Viking Motorsports cars were, 16th right now on the board here. So do we think we had some of that same speed from last week?
Yeah, it does look like it right now. We were really fast last week, but I think we're in the ballpark. Just got to make a couple adjustments to the Dude Wipes Poopsicle Chevrolet to get it where we need it to be up front all day. So this is a really fun racetrack, but you definitely need a lot of everything to go fast here. So just try not to disconnect the car too much with these adjustments, and can't say enough about Viking Motorsports. Everyone worked on this car and the opportunity I have here. So very thankful and looking forward to having another great day.
Good job getting that sponsor. I'm glad you said it, not me. You were trying to get me to say it earlier today. I wasn't going to do it. But, hey, you know what? We never get this chance to talk to a driver in practice. We were listening to you talk to your team a little bit about lap times. What are you looking at on your iPad? Tell the fans, what are you focused on right now at this point in practice? What's going through your mind? What are you guys trying to dissect, and what are you looking there at?
Yeah, absolutely. So good question. I'm looking at SMT right here, and try to show you guys if you got the camera up. But comparing to Shane, he's one of the best to ever do it. And obviously, we didn't have him or Connor in the field last week, so that gave us a great shot to win. But this weekend, you get to learn from those guys. So I felt like our lap times were very consistent. We didn't really fall off there, but we didn't fire off quite where we need to. We need a little more of that short run speed, be a little faster up front, and try to keep the longevity in it. But the tires wear really quick here, especially the rears. Ever since the repave, I just feel like it loses a lot of grip every year we come back, and you're going to need to take care of it throughout the race. So I'm trying to get the best feel of my race car to go out there and be fast, but also be there at the end when it matters most.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate you taking us through that. So if you had to pick a place on this racetrack, what's the most difficult one to you? What are you focused on that you're seeing that Shane is so much faster than you at?
He just sets up the exits a little better out of the few low-speed corners, just turn 11, I'd say a little bit off at 2, definitely 7, just to get runs. Those lead on to straightaways or momentum places where there's a lot of speed. If you can just get a little bit on the exit, it builds all the way down the straightaway, right? So working on our forward drive here to help me with that. The rest of it, the S's and some of the switchbacks are what I love about this place. Very flowy, a lot of elevation change. We're really strong actually in 10, which is one of the hardest parts of the track, in my opinion, that off-cambered high-speed kink down into 11. So we nailed the hard part. We got to work on some of the other stuff to be a little better, and it's nice to have tools like this to see where we can improve.
Well, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you, and I'll give you one tip. He's using second gear in 7-Eleven, by the way. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you, but yes, you should probably check that out. Thank you, bud.
I was going to say the same thing, so I'm glad you said it, not me.
I wasn't sure if I'm allowed to give advice, but I was like, I know what he's pointing out.
He said 7 and 11. I was like, well, I think we know maybe we're something he can try. Well, as crews continue to work to get Austin Green's car off the racetrack and repair the barriers in turn number 11, let's go down to Carla, who's at the Infield Medical Center with Austin Green.
That's right, Dylan. He just came out. Austin, first of all, hard hit. Kind of, are you okay first? And then what did you feel from inside the car?
Yeah, it was a good one for sure. I don't know, no warning. I don't know what corner it was before the hairpin. Kind of check the brakes, make sure they were there, and yeah, once I got peak pressure, it just went to the floor. So I tried to spin it. So I don't know, weirdest thing. I've never had that happen, but hopefully we can get the backup car ready for tomorrow, and just feel good though. So obviously safe cars and obviously all the medical stuff that NASCAR does. So yeah, it was a good one for sure.
Well, he said it. A testament to the cars that NASCAR standardizes here with the safety things and the seats and everything that goes into keeping and protecting these drivers every weekend, playing its part there for sure, because you look at the damage of this race car, he has shortened it up considerably, and every time we see a replay of that, it just gets uglier. So great to hear from him.
Yeah, and you might be wondering, like we referenced, that you could see the right front was locked up, right? So how can you say there's no brakes, pedal goes to the floor? Well, this is a 3,400-pound race car, and that one right front brake is not going to stop this race car. What that tells me is most likely the rears were not braking, possibly even the left front. And what he referenced was turning and trying to spin the car. That's where you're just trying to bleed speed any way possible. I think he probably did the right thing there. Just looking at the angle of that corner, you're just trying to give yourself as much time and distance to slow that car down as much as you possibly could, which is such a disheartening feeling, like he described. When you hit that brake pedal and it goes to the floor and you're headed towards a wall like that, there's few moments as a race car driver as scary and as helpless as that moment but just so glad to see him walk out of there just fine.
Progress being made over there in turn number 11, getting all the tire barriers back in order, and next step is to just move the wall, and then hopefully we'll have some cars back on the racetrack here momentarily. Let's check back in with Kim on Brent Cruz, who's 5th right now.
Yeah, with all this extra time, Brent taking the opportunity to just go over some SMT data, identify some spots. He told his teams turns 2, 3A, 3B, and then better through the S's were the points where he felt like he had places to gain. But the team was already in when this red flag came out. They were trying to make adjustments to the race car. Brent does not like the feel of the car in both of the runs he's taken. The first run, he felt like the splitter was too high, making him loose off the turns. You saw that moment kind of in the dirt, and then they came in, made adjustments. The second run also did not like it. Interesting feedback he gave the team. He said the front end has no feel, was going up and down. He did feel like it was platform related, but he said, and I quote, feels like a floppy fish just all over the place. So looking to get that car better for Brent Cruz.
You don't want to drive a floppy fish. They don't drive well. They don't create a lot of grip. What he's referencing, and this is a choice every one of these O'Reilly Series teams is making at every road course, and that is how stiff do you make that race car. If you make it really stiff, it will be really fast over one lap, but will still be fast at lap 10, 20, 30 on a run. So this is a choice, and you sort of kind of come to some, I guess, mix of what you decide to go down in terms of what is the correct way or path, or how much you want that car to roll, which means you're running softer springs, which means it might have more longevity but not be as quick over one lap, and can you still extract that one lap speed? And so that's just a choice every one of these teams is always going through, and Brent obviously thinks his is a floppy fish, so that's too soft, I would say. And this guy, well, he's
the fastest guy here right now.
Crushing it right now. Fast as a rabbit.
Well, good news to see some cars lined up on pit road. Still some repair work to be done over in turn number 11, and still working to get the 87 off the racetrack. But it has been a eventful and scenic session already here at Sonoma. Always great images as
Is that what you were talking about being tight? Yeah. Would you mind? I don't know the password on this thing.
Good for the swing skills.
Worked at all yet? No timing or anything? This thing by you here with 2 records. Need to let us know if it's better or worse. It'll give us a general idea. Copy. On those back and forth, left and rights. Like that was just calm. You feel like you could run those laps forever, but you're at the max of, like, you know, where the grip is at.
Yeah, I was just making sure. That's some of our teammates.
It was pretty impressive, honestly. Yeah, I was thinking, the guy in the back is doing some good driving. Yeah, I mean, they started slow, but they got pretty far. It's impressive.
Part of that to help them out, you know. I also raised the track bar, and I did some packer just to get the splitter platform better. Obviously, the side skirts are dragging both sides, front to back. So I know I'm like feeling a roll on each side, like evenly. You know, it doesn't look like to the back. You know, we just gotta hit it like you said, get more rotation out of it. So.
And in the high-speed sections, like opening up for that kink and also into 1, that's kind of my reluctance to, is I know that if I open it up more and roll more speed, I'm going to get on the skirts more, because that's where I feel like I'm laying on it, is those high-speed trends. Like.
Glenn.
Oh my God, he got inside of him.
Silich, 3 in a row at Watkins Glen. What a comeback!
NASCAR is on the base.
Austin Hill inside of Taylor Gray. 21 on point. It's Hill winning at Naval Base Coronado.
You know, JRM had won 11 straight road course races until last week when Austin Hill finally got that elusive first road course win that he has been so close to so many times. I was chatting with Chad Haney. You were talking to Austin. I think both of them pretty just relieved to get that one over with finally.
We had actually let Austin Hill know that he didn't even know that he had finished top 5 16 times going into that on road courses. He was like, that was news to me, but it makes sense. Finally got a win on a road course. Huge. You could tell the emotion he had, and that was just because of how close he had been at these types of tracks. Felt like he could get it done. He finally did.
First win since the season opener at Daytona for Big Country in the 21. Kim?
I'm catching up with Connor Zelich, who decided to stand up for the interview instead of sit down, make you actually do some work down here. No, just kidding. You've been out there 11 laps, second on the board. Did you like the feel of your race car?
Yeah, I did, honestly. You didn't let me get a sip of my Red Bulls.
Go ahead. You need to take a little pause, a moment. We're going to have a moment for the Red Bull. He did spend all of his time out West Coast with Red Bull, so it's fitting that we give him some love.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But, yeah, it was good. I was happy with it. It's really interesting. There's no fall off. I feel like this track is usually really bad about that. So, yeah, I ran 10 or 11 laps and ran the same lap time every lap. So, a little different than last year, but we're going to make some changes. We got more grip than we expected. So, yeah, hopefully that we can get this Roto-Rooter Chevrolet tuned up and ready to go beat the Kiwi.
I was going to say, enough out there in front of you to gain that you'll catch up with Shane?
I mean, we always got something in our back pocket. So, yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow, getting to race against him, and then hopefully do it again on Sunday. We were planning on doing it last weekend, but somebody had other plans. So, yeah, I'm excited to get back on track with the Junior Motorsports team. It's always a good time, and hopefully we're going to go have a good day tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thanks, Kim.
And we did have Connor sit down with teammate Shane Van Gisbergen. Here's what happened.
You're the tech kid. Come on, man. Now you got to explain yourself. I was trying to pass you the nice way for so long, and then I didn't even... And then what? I wasn't trying to wreck you. Didn't give me room. I left you alone. Oh. That was a big one. That's one of the biggest ones I had. Well, I left out the other highlight. Which one? The low light. Oh, when I fell? Yeah. I hit my head pretty hard that afternoon. So did I. We both might not have the best memory of that day.
Join us 4:30 tomorrow for that story and more. Connor over there checking in with his buddy Jesse Love.
Such unlikely buddies, but you can tell there's a respect amongst those two. Just I'd say unlikely because the age gap between the two of them, you wouldn't normally see that. But I feel like it's like a younger brother, older brother relationship. And then what's happening on the left here, I think Connor's just let him know that he's about, I don't know, just under a tenth faster than Jesse, and did not forget it.
Well, you talk about the age gap between Connor and Shane. They motivate each other, right? They each know that they're perhaps each other's biggest competition every weekend, and certainly great that they can be competitors, but also still be friends and teammates on the cup side.
Don't show Hocevar that shot. He's not happy.
He wouldn't like that. He would not like that. Finishing up track repairs, and we'll have cars back on the track here for practice in a moment.
But it got pretty tight. Yeah, I'm looking at all of the other laps that, and it seems like mainly last time, definitely going to wash out on that.
In an iRacing race one time, so 5,000 how? It was in that Monday night racing, that championship race, and I qualified like 4th, he qualified like 2nd. We go down into turn 1, he busted his ass, and yeah.
I didn't think that paid out that much. I ran almost all of those races.
Yeah, that season 4 championship paid $5,000 to win, 500 for 2nd, 200 for 3rd, and I think I got a high 5 for 4th.
just let the 9 roll out there, see what you can learn from them, see what this change does. That's probably the end of it.
Yeah, I will.
You just get a little bit in all 11 corners, you'll be there.
Yep, 10-4. Always run faster than the second time, it seems like, on these kind of places.
Not like I did anything in here any different, you know?
10-4. Maybe it's starting to weld itself together.
Yeah. I mean, all like changing the gears and everything seems good and feels normal and nice. But honestly feels a little bit better than the car in San Diego. Like I said, though, it just, I don't know, it seems like I don't quite have
the tire pack and basically separated those two walls that this repair crew is focused on, moved the tire barriers. Car was buried in there deep. So good to see that the banners are going back on and everything is just about ready to go back racing here. We saw the 87 being towed off the racetrack. Here it is with two tow trucks. That's when you know it's been a bad day. This is what the 8 team and Sammy Smith thought about this.
I don't know that I've ever seen him get 2 trucks to carry a car home like that.
It was pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking, the guy in the back is doing some good driving.
Yeah, I mean, they started slow, but they got pretty impressive.
Yeah, that thing, you know, that car is going to...
That's what you said.
Yeah.
When you and I were looking at this. You were like, the guy in the back, and I was like, you're right.
Yeah, he's doing all the work. Yeah, you know, that car is going to swing between those 2 tow trucks. I have to imagine it's going to move you around. That's an impressive piece of driving.
Innovation.
Yes.
Just on the heels of Silicon Valley out here, and you're seeing real-time innovation in the tow truck game right there. Having the car hoisted in the air via 2 tow trucks.
SVG is patiently awaiting his turn to go back out and set another fast lap. He is fastest right now. So let's take a onboard ride for a lap around this 1.99 mile 11-turn road course. Here he comes through and out of turn number 11, and he'll see the start-finish line just past this left-hander.
Right up to 3rd gear, up to 4th here on the front straightaway. This is the fastest portion through turn 1. Goes around the 0-2 there. Normally you'd have your left sides over on the white line. Then to 2nd gear at the top of this hill. You put the throttle down gently there, up to 3rd before 3. The car compresses. You can sometimes hear it bottom out right there. Then it releases at the top of the hill. Use all the racetrack. It's blind for the driver. Remember, we're sitting up above. Down into 4, downhill braking zone that you don't want to go too far all the way out here because you've got to get to the right of that wall. Now, one of the harder braking zones into 7. This was, I was remarking if you were here earlier, he's in 2nd gear. Almost everyone who's driven a stock car here before him went to 1st in that corner. Through the high-speed S's, you just clip each and every curb here, dabs of brake, easing back from the throttle on exit. And this now drives you towards turn 10, the fastest corner on the track. Left side's here, you hear them on the rumble strip. Then turn in the inside, the car gets real light, use all the racetrack on the exit, and down into the heavy braking at turn 11. Once you get in that compression there, that's your notice to hit the brake, and look, once again, only 2nd gear. Everyone else goes to 1st. This is just what makes SVG so impressive, is something like that, where NASCAR's been coming here for, I don't even know how long at this point, forever it feels like, and he's found innovation in staying in 2nd gear in the 2 slowest corners.
That's the way you do it if you want to be fast around this racetrack. Great images there from SVG. Practice on the other side after this delay for the barrier repair.
Now, which means practice is over, but we'll see what they do. They haven't said anything yet, but just so you understand the timing of things.
Yeah, happy on that, yeah.
Copy. On that note, the official qualifying time just ended. Sorry, practice time.
Haven't set time yet.
long we got here?
2:05. So 15 minutes left.
Got it. After the 9:07, you're good right there. Get stuck in.
.31.7 up behind you. Lock run and just run this out if it feels okay. In front, still waiting 2 off. Still dragging out front. Let's open and off of 5 here. Everything goes slow in your mirror. You can learn from him. There's it rolled off with you. These guys are dragging pretty hard to 7. Coyotes.
Green car off the racetrack and back up to speed is the rest of the field. William Sawalich, good here last year, finished 3rd, won the ARCA West race. Didn't have a great weekend last weekend. They were one that got collected in that big incident on lap 35, but was showing signs of another strong road course run before that. Was in and amongst the top 5 for most of the early part of the race.
And I feel like for last weekend, you can basically reference half the field.
Yeah, there's 3 cars that didn't have an incident last week.
That big incident. So we look at the chase bubble here. This is where it just starts to get pretty tense. William Sawalich there, just 5 over the cut line to his teammate Brent Cruz. You got Roger Carruth there, 9 back. This is really tight. And even Ryan Seed being 27 back. Any hiccup by 2 of these guys, and he's going to be right in it. Very close to his 6 races remaining in a pretty diverse set of tracks. So this is tense times. This is where, you know, a lot of people get to summertime in their lives each year. They think fun and the sun and all these things. For a professional race car driver in the O'Reilly Series or in any NASCAR series, this is crunch time. This is when, for years, it was making the playoffs. Now it's making the chase. This is what your season comes down to. And if you're going to have the opportunity to continue that season in a big way or be relegated to thinking about, oh, well, guess we're just here to win races, right? So this is a very intense time.
And I think if you're both of those guys on either side of the bubble, the Joe Gibbs teammates, Sawalich and Cruz, this is an important weekend for you just to try to build in some buffer because both of them have been so strong on the road courses. Good opportunity for each of them to, in Cruz's case, close that gap, or in Sawalich's case, try and pad the lead that he's got over the bubble right now. But it won't take much. As tight as it is, you saw the graphic there left of the screen, as tight as it is around that bubble area, one small mistake, one slip up, and you could be in trouble for the first part of July and into August.
And having it be a teammate makes it tougher. And the reason being is, you know, you guys see each other's stuff, obviously, and you kind of know what you're thinking in moments where maybe you want to go for points in a stage end instead of flipping it for the best finish because you're fighting for points. So you're kind of going for the same things, and each of you knows you're going for the same thing. So that can make it tough as well, especially if you get to a feeling where you think only one of you can make it. That gets very intense. It's Jesse Love we watch here. Head to Cup next year, the 21 car.
Finished 6th last weekend at San Diego after a miraculous recovery. This race a year ago, though, did not go according to plan. Broke the rear end on the race car and went behind the wall pretty early on. And until I believe Pocono this year, that was his most recent DNF in a race. So mechanical issues sidelining him at his home race from Menlo Park, California. That's about 90 minutes from here.
I was down there this week.
In Menlo Park?
Yeah. Yep.
How is it?
It was great. Very beautiful part of the country. I know Jesse's family had a little get-together celebration for him making it to Cup. That's really cool. I think that's one of the coolest things for a young driver to get to the highest level is there is, you know, like other sports you see where they get drafted, right, in the NFL or other stick and ball sports. We don't quite have that in NASCAR and motorsports, but we have that moment, that certification of like, you've signed a deal, you are going to be racing at the highest level, and it's cool for the family to get to celebrate that, and friends who've seen the journey, maybe some who didn't understand it, watched it from afar, but they know it's a big deal when you've gotten to the top. And so I think he's had a really fun week and been able to spend it with his family out here in this beautiful part of the country.
Oh, it's not like he's just getting in any car. He's getting in maybe one of the most historic cars in the entire Cup Series garage in that Wood Brothers 21. So awesome opportunity for sure for Jesse. We'll miss him on this side of things, but a great opportunity for him. Carson Kvapil in the 91 this weekend for DGM Racing. The Ride Musical Chairs is drawing to a close. This is his last week of the year in this car. He'll run the 9 next week at Chicago. And after that, he's in the 1 car to finish the year. So it has been a trying stretch of races. This is the 9th straight race that he's been in a different car in back-to-back weeks. Next week he'll make it 10. But it's he's done impressively well given the circumstances.
And that's not only welcome news for him, it's welcome news for us.
Yeah.
We don't have to keep up with it anymore, and it makes it a lot easier to know which car he's in, as you can see his results in each of these cars. This 91, he was pretty quick. I think back Dakota had a great run in this car. So, you know, obviously working closely with Junior Motorsports on these race cars when he's in them. But still, you know, it's tough when you jump around like that and just different hauler, different group, that sort of thing. It's just all those little things add up, and they take mind share when you're jumping around. And for Raja Ruth, who's jumping between Junior Motorsports cars, as we look back at Carson Kvapil last week, he was fast.
Another one that just slipped through his fingers, still chasing that first career win. Contact here late, racing for the win with Taylor Gray. And this was the conversation afterwards, which was cordial, but I talked to both those guys today. I think had the potential to be a little bit more fiery.
Well,
but they both had cooler heads prevail there.
He was quite cordial.
Yes.
And quite reserved in what I felt like it kind of got dumped for the lead of a race and how close he's been to winning. I think, you know, before he had really watched it, maybe felt like there was less room there given, but he gave Taylor a ton of room. Taylor had no reason to be all the way to the right in that way and kind of just drove into him. So I think he was incredibly gracious. If I was Taylor Gray, I'd feel very lucky that you spun out a guy who seems to have taken it so kindly. But yeah, I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't at least have some sort of reciprocation at the right point in time if they're battling again that closely for a win.
The beneficiary of that contact was that car right there, the 21 Austin Hill. Talked to you just a bit ago about that long-awaited road course victory. And this was after the contact of the 54 and the 1. Austin marching his way forward and through. And excited, to say the least, to get that first win for RCR on a road course in quite some time. Since 2016 was the last time they'd won on a road course in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
That was really big, and he was fast all weekend. You know, the 21 car, we went on his onboard many times through that weekend, and it was just obvious on the braking, and just when I watched his hands inside that race car, I felt like they had really brought some serious speed and showed up in practice and qualifying. And of course, in the race, and I had a long chat with Austin about, you know, just what that experience was like. And he, you know, he was like, I've worked at this, the team has worked at it, and we've had our road courses where we were way off. But this, for whatever reason, when we showed up with all the effort we put in sim, the team told me he put a tremendous amount of effort in between the O'Reilly car and the Cut car. It clicked, and he was like, from the early on in that weekend, I felt like, okay, this is our chance. We have a huge opportunity. And Chad Haney told me they circled that race and said, that's the one. We're going to win that one. So really big to check that box and then be a winner on a road course finally.
And what a feeling it must have been to be that confident going into a place that everybody else was maybe a little trepidatious of, didn't really know what to expect. And these guys rolled in there with a plan, and they delivered on it in dramatic fashion there in the closing laps.
Beautiful word choice about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a big
I would have went with apprehensive.
Scrabble word.
But you went with trepidatious. Wow.
Alex LeBay in the zero rather this weekend. 7th on the board right now. Great road racer.
That's so cool. He is a great road racer. And he has, throughout his career, driven cars that I'd say have no business being in the position that he puts them in on these road courses. But he continually does this and finds speed. And, you know, I'm never surprised when I see him pop up in the top 10 or top 5. And one of the things I notice about him is if he can get that car to finish to the end, he more often than not is a threat for a top 10 or top 5 with a car that might be sub 25th in points at that time. So it's really impressive what he does when he gets to the opportunity.
Cole Custer will be in that 0 car next weekend. Seen Garrett Smithley in it as well. On board again here with Anthony Alfredo. Let's take a look at this. It's Raja Caruth in front of him.
Oh boy.
Hang on, Raj.
Hey, bud. Oh boy. All over the place.
He had his hands full there.
All right. Raja, I was going to say, so that first turn-in is a really deceiving corner because the track falls away from you and it compresses. You actually have to turn in earlier than it looks.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good.
Somebody's locked up.
Don't know who that was. That was Jesse just locking the tires. Thought somebody spun out there.
But for Raja there, that second portion doesn't usually happen that way, but you can see he's really sideways every time he get a shot out. Let's take a look here. So yeah, he's just definitely lacking rear grip right now. Potentially, two things can happen there. One, you start off pretty loose. Maybe you have still sliding it. They could have large rear springs in this car, that sort of thing. Or he's slid it so much he's really hurt those rear tires and heated them up a ton. I know Connor Zilic said there's no falls. That's for Connor Zilic. If you are heating up those rear tires a ton, they will start to give out as you see him slide some more. So he's definitely lacking the grip in the rear of that race car right now.
This is his first time here to Sonoma, so he's one that would have liked to have seen a full 50-minute practice session. Not going to get it, though. That time at the bottom left of the screen is real time. NASCAR added some time, but about 2.5 minutes remaining here in this practice session that ultimately is going to be a little bit abbreviated. As we look at Corey Day, who I don't think this is too mean to say hit everything but the snack shack, I think, last week, and somehow still but still somehow they kept their heads down all day and rebounded to 10th, which was just absolutely remarkable. And I should clarify, most of those things were not necessarily of his doing. Had that manhole cover that came up on the first lap, which put them behind. Had a spin. This is that manhole cover this is lap 1 or 2 of the race that came bouncing out of the racetrack and went through their grill, through their radiator.
I thought my eyes were deceiving me because on the broadcast I go, I think there's a manhole cover in there. And then I'm like, I don't know if I'm correct. Had another incident here, Dean Thompson, spun by Parker Retzloff. You can see how beat up, that's the backup car that had a not quite a manhole cover, it was a drainage cover essentially, yes. Because obviously city streets have drainage access points, plumbing access points that are a little smaller than what we'd consider a manhole cover, but it looks very similar. And that went and sat in the front fascia of the race car.
This was just moments ago. Working through the S's.
So that's turn 10. You turn in, but you come through 9. The car is loaded to the right side. The left front is basically in the air because you run softer rear springs at these road courses than you would particularly at, say, an oval.
I did have a little bit of lockup into 10, and I did wheel hop into 4 and into 7 on that one.
Yep, we caught the lockup for you, so don't worry, we have visual proof. And that lockup happens because you settle the car at the same time that you hit the brake and you're on that curbing on the left side. And so if you don't let it transfer the weight correctly before you get on the brake too hard, you get that left front lockup that he had. You can adjust that with the lever in the race car to tune a little bit more rear brake bias into the car, or obviously the brake bias knob, or it's just changing the way you're tackling that corner in terms of letting it settle before you get on the brake, getting that weight transfer to the left side first.
Corey's gone to the top here. 1:16.374, fastest lap in the final minute of practice. Look at Brent Cruz. He's 8th right now. Will Rogers up to 6th. Another great road racer that we don't get to see a lot of. But every time he gets behind the wheel of one of these cars, which usually is on road courses, he does very well. Spots for Eric Jones on Sundays.
That's the coolest part to me.
Well, and last year, Eric was one of his auxiliary spotters. Is that what they call it around the racetrack? Where you know, on the road courses they have multiple different spotters. So Eric came and donned a headset and spotted for his spotter.
We don't call them auxiliary. We just call them spotters.
Okay, that's
we're adding some serious vocabulary to this show. To our listeners and watchers out there, we'll
that's an IndyCar term.
If you need a dictionary, we understand.
Practice is done, and Corey Day gets the best of Shane Van Gisbergen, Jesse Love, Connor Zilic, and Justin Allgaier. That's the top 5. So nice rebound, as we said, after a tough weekend a week ago in San Diego for the 17 bunch. This is some radio from SVG before he climbed out of the car.
What do you think about that change, Bud? Did that hit that left rear feel you needed?
I don't think so. I don't think it was better. It felt better to start with, but then once the tires got hot, it wasn't an improvement.
Okay, copy.
Something for Philip Bell to work on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. They didn't give us any info. Just did you like it or not? I don't know what he's trying to do with the left front. It could be that, like we saw of Corey Day, it was hanging up in the air a little bit too much. You can change some of the shock, you know, sort of style what you have in the front end there. You can make small tweaks here and there, so to help those sorts of things. So not sure exactly what it is, but obviously wasn't what he was looking for.
LeVar Scott heading to pit road as practice winds down. One of many exciting moments here in practice.
Lazy downhill in that braking zone, like pretty big handful through 4. Just feel like something's off. Like I'm really rough and not able to attack and load the tires. Like if I load a tire, it slips and it bounces and skips across the racetrack. Turn 7's not bad. I'm kind of just tight through there. I've started blowing the apex better. You know, like blowing the apex and running second gear through there to keep my drive underneath me. The S's I thought were a little bit better that time. Like I could feel the car loading the outside tires and not over shearing them. Felt like my turn 10 was a little bit better as well. So that was kind of my gain from last time, was my turn 10 and S's. But everywhere else feels about the same.
So pretty rough with those springs in the back.
Yeah, like it's just like I get to the top of the hill and where the car is light, instead of like settling down, it's like hopping, like bouncing across kind of the top of the hill. And it feels like it's on, you know, 4,000s across the back. Like it's just rough. It's kind of odd.
I got you. We're gonna punt here a little bit for qualifying.
Okay.
Linears in. Over the top straight, but I could try a little shallower through there.
Yeah, just something to think about. He does it in the Cup car, and so does SVG.
Okay, I'm gonna hop out for a couple minutes here.
Yeah, that's fine. I can hear it in your voice. You're second guessing yourself. Goofy.
B-lines, I've gotten better on my entry, right? With them catching me on entry, it's gotten better, correct?
It's gotten better, but it's not call the perfect. It's better. I think your exits look good because you're not slowing down. Like, does that make sense?
And start with Carla.
Yeah, Dylan here with Sam Mayer, a 4-time road course winner in the series. I know last week didn't go the way that you planned it, but being back on track today on a more familiar course, how does that feel?
Yeah, road racing is so much fun. These O'Reilly cars are a blast, and the Audubon Chevy is really good this weekend. Obviously, it doesn't show on the charts too much, but the handling of it and what I'm kind of looking for in the car is exactly what I need. So heading into qualifying, feel pretty good. But yeah, definitely looking for a pole today. It would be pretty cool to get that. But yeah, we definitely got a lot of competition for sure.
What were some of the things that you were more important to communicate to your team during that practice?
Yeah, I mean, we unloaded and we went pretty early, so the track, we were kind of cleaning the track off more than anything, but I still felt pretty good about what we had. And we made a couple of adjustments here and there, but we kind of went back to really how we started. So yeah, these guys do a really good job during the week and getting this car ready to go. And it's a brand new car for us, so really looking forward to getting it going.
All right, thanks. Kim?
Thanks, Carla. We've got Shane Van Gisbergen checking out some SMT. We're going to pull him, drag him out from his shade. I know you don't like the heat, but it's a pretty nice day here in Sonoma. How did you feel about your race car and just the outlook being in Group 1 for this qualifying?
Yeah, car's really good. I hope the guy who crashed is okay. That didn't look too good, but yeah, car's really good. Second round was better, and yeah, hopefully we stay good for qualifying. Obviously be difficult in the first round, but it is what it is, and try and make the most of it for tomorrow.
What was the biggest takeaway in things of, like, what did you need out of your race car?
We just worked on what we lacked last year and kind of continued on that path, and yeah, I think the car's better than last year, and all of us seem to have the same issues or improvements, so yeah, things are looking good.
Thanks, Shane.
Cheers.
An optimistic Shane Van Gisbergen down here, Carla.
Thanks, Kim. And Corey Day should be optimistic too. Fastest lap before you came in. What'd you like out there?
Yeah, we mocked up there at the end, just trying to get a better feel for me qualifying at these road courses. The delta between a fast practice lap and a fast qualifying lap is pretty big, so just want to get a good feel for that. And yeah, I think we got a really good HendrickCars.com Chevrolet today.
What stands out to you about Sonoma and obviously kind of back at home in California too?
Yeah, this is my home race, so it's always cool to be able to do this one. And yeah, it's just a super fun track. I love the elevation change, and you know, it's definitely like two different tracks in one. Left side of the track up here up the hill is tricky and technical, and then the bottom half of the track is just more kind of simple and standard. So I enjoy that.
Corey, one of 5 Californians in the field.
You can see with the glasses out the back of the hat, surfer style. That's California.
He's from Clovis, which is about 3.5 hours away from here, about halfway between Sacramento and LA, for those of you that know your California geography. Awaiting qualifying, that's next here from Sonoma.
So you got several, 7, 19, 91, 41, 18, 96, 9. Everybody else we probably need to stay away from.
Yep, copy that. I'd say probably stay away from SVG as dumb as that sounds, just because most likely going to run a install lap, and you're going to probably have the field in behind them.
Yeah, the other thing I fear is we did this last week, and he immediately just overdrove it, missed a corner, trying to chase somebody. I'd rather that not happen either.
Yeah, 10-4. Mike, they're backwards. They ain't been switched back since what's his name's car, I guess. Carson borrowed it. Tape stays in the generator in the hangar where the bucket is. That's where all of our tape normally stays. And it's squirreled away in Aaron's bag.
Top of the S is, I don't think you're really giving anything up. It's all just technical, and once you piece it together, the lap time looks really good. And if you miss it a little, it kind of bleeds away from you. Yeah, 100%.
Long ago qualifying?
Less than about 10 to 8 minutes, less than 10.
What are you trying to share in return?
Yeah, I mean, it's so random here with the way the laps are, and you know, we're kind of all in different spots as far as setups go. So, you know, we have a lot of speed with you know, our Brand Professional Culture number 7. I feel really good about our car, but there's always speed to be had, and I was down talking to SVG and Connor, just what they feel, what they feel like they could do better or where their car could be better. And then, over here with Sammy and Raja, just talking about some of the things that, whether it be gearing, what gear you're in at what different parts of the racetrack, or things that maybe help you out. So, this place, I had a love-hate relationship with this place because I've run really well here and I've run really poorly here. But, Andrew Overstreet and this whole 7 team did a really good job. I feel like we have speed and we're able to kind of have that long-run speed, which I think is going to be important for tomorrow's race. So we just have to manage it and get a good qualifying effort here, do all of the right things, and hopefully make all the right decisions for the race.
Thanks, Justin. We'll let you get back to Raja, helping Raja out in Raja's first series start here. Justin, though, in the last 3 races at Sonoma, hasn't finished worse than 7th. Carla?
And it's also Brent Cruz's first series start here, but you did have that Trans Am win just last season, but I want to know just kind of what were your first thoughts in the O'Reilly car?
Yeah, the pace is just slower than I remember back in the Trans Am car, which is fine. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but I feel like our Mobil 1 Toyota GR Super is really good today. Made some adjustments there and got better and better. I thought our last run was really good. Really happy to see what we got in qualifying going out early. So we'll see. I'm excited to be here and excited to be on another road course.
Yeah, excited, and also told me a little bit earlier he wants to qualify in the top 3, but we'll have more from Sonoma Raceway, see what Brent Cruz has for the rest of the field. We've got qualifying on deck when we come back.
Give you guys a heads up.
Farther, DJ, back a little bit. Surge, help them.
The NASCAR app, can I see the phone?
Rubbers that I added to that, you take a half round out of both rears. Minutes. Do what everyone else does. Go down to 1 on the jack car. Shut the hood, Jake.
Brake tape on the NACA is the only thing. I couldn't find the NACA tape.
Out though. Here we are.
Now.
2 minutes.
Zilic first, Shane Van Gisbergen. Obviously, they were fast in the actual practice runs, about a 10th separated the two. Corey Day went fastest, but we want to compare these two. If we start at the start-finish line right there, that pink section, this starts to show you. Then we go left from there. That's turn 1. Blue is SVG. Pink is Zilic, who was slower. You start to see where SVG was a little faster in turns, what we call 2 and 3, basically. Then as you head to this next section, this long section, Zilic was actually faster all the way down to turn 7, which is the top left portion of this map. That's where we've noted that SVG is using second gear. But then as you go through these S's where they just circled, this is where SVG starts to come back. So maybe that second gear is giving a better drive. Then you see Zilic is a little quicker through the 8, then 9 into 10. That's where SVG is faster through that high-speed section. And then it leads all the way down to turn 11, the last far right portion of the track. That's where SVG is using second gear as well. He gets a great run out of there and finishes the lap faster than Connor Zilic. These are sector times that on road course racing, we try to break the track up as much as we possibly can. like this, because it gives you an idea of exactly where are you quicker or slower, and helps you dissect the things you're seeing in your, or talking about in your race car. This is how we like to look at these things, especially in a sim, that sort of stuff. But we've never done that here on a CW broadcast, so that was pretty cool. Thanks to our friends at Race Insights for building that. You know, we're right near Silicon Valley, and we just unveiled new tech in the tech capital of the United States, of the world, here on a CW broadcast on the O'Reilly Series.
Groundbreaking stuff. So if you're Connor and you look at that and you want to be better in some of those areas, like what's available for him to do besides, I guess, keep it in second gear coming out of those corners potentially?
It's that, you know, I mentioned the gear thing because it is pretty visible, and you can also hear it very well when we're on board with SVG, but that doesn't absolutely mean that's the difference maker, right? That might be something I really think Shane does for longevity of the rear tires. He's just able to modulate the front end of the race car so well with all the things he does with the pedals to get that car to turn in second gear and then still have the drive off. I think when you look at that, you try to bring it back to, okay, what am I saying about the cars in those sections where Shane is faster? And it's like, oh, well, you've been telling us you're a little loose or whatever, so maybe we can tighten you up in those sections, but if we tighten you up, will you be slower in those other sections you were faster? That's sort of the give and take you'll have with your team, your crew chief, when you see data like that you just try to correlate to what you're feeling in the race car.
Group 1 of qualifying hitting the racetrack. 2 groups, 20 minutes each. And clock is rolling for these first 19 cars. Some good benchmarks in this group. Allgaier, SVG, Sawalich, Brent Cruz, and Sam Mayer. All in this first group, among others. Saw Anthony Alfredo there, Carson Quapple in the 91 here. And again, just a reminder, as we said, 2 groups. Everybody's time gets blended together, so it doesn't really matter where you, or whether you're in Group 1 or Group 2 as far as where you start. It's all about the best times, and that will determine the lineup.
Here we are, starting the lap. Anthony Alfredo going through the alternate start-finish line, so now you're on it. This is turn 10, heading towards turn 11.
Yeah, it should note alternate start-finish line between turns 8 and 9. This is out of turn 11, coming to the traditional start-finish line.
You can hear he was in first gear. We'll go all the way up to 4th down the front straightaway. Turn into turn 1, you lift off a little bit. Now you're just rolling as much speed up the hill as you possibly can. Using the hill to slow the race car down at min speed right there. Now back to the throttle hard. You get back to the right for 3. Don't go on that right side curve, you'll lose the right rear. Now you blind crest here over 3A. Get back to the throttle as hard as you can. This is one that's easy to overdrive, but he does a good job. You don't want to be too far to the left, that meant you overdrive it. And now down to first gear for him, a wide late apex, short shift to second, up to 3rd. You'll hit these curves on the right, car bounces. Don't overdrive these. Trying to get back to the throttle as hard as you can. There's the alternate start-finish line. That's a lap.
Alfredo at a 1:15.8. Faster than the times we saw in practice. Corey Day was at a 1:16.3. Alfredo picks it up a couple seconds, second and a half or so, compared to what he practiced at.
I don't have a great reference as to where that will stack up, but I believe being in the 15s should be close to the top 10.
Their road course program over there at Viking Motorsports continues to just get better and better. Such a good weekend last weekend that ultimately didn't end well for the 96 bunch, but spoke to Danny Evan this morning and just encouraged by the progress they've made as a whole at racetracks that in the past have been challenging for Anthony and even for Parker Retzloff.
You heard the rev limiter there for Will Rogers. There are places on this racetrack where in qualifying you can choose to leave it in a gear, hit off the rev limiter to eliminate a shift. There's different theories on that. Sometimes you'll do it because if you do that upshift, it's so quick that you'll have to just immediately start braking and downshift. But it does take away eventual top speed if you're hitting off that rev limiter and kind of stops the progression of momentum for the race car, but sometimes you'll do that because you just feel like it's not worth the extra shift, and you can set up better for the braking zone, and you'll give up that extra mile per hour or so at the top end of that straightaway when you're off the red line.
Saul Rogers head to pit road in the second position. And here's the two Joe Gibbs teammates working towards the green flag. So Wallace just went on the clock, and there goes Cruz across the alt-start finish line as well to begin his lap. Right of the screen, that'll compare to Anthony Alfredo's lap.
This should give us a really good benchmark from these two as to what the state of the racetrack is, how much grip there is. Pretty wide there. Brent Cruz didn't wrap the inside. Still green on our tracker. Up the hill here into turn 2. A lot tighter there. You see continuing to gain.
Sawalich going back the right direction as well, into the green briefly as they crest the top of the hill there.
Well, we're visually going to see a big slide there by Brent Cruz at the top. We're visually seeing him catch his teammate slightly, so that's a great indication that he's a little quicker. If you're William, you're not looking in the mirror, but if you did, you wouldn't want to see that because it means he's going faster than you.
Got Cruz on a good lap here. Going to be well clear of Alfredo if he navigates the S's smoothly.
This is really good flirting. Possibly getting towards the 14s. Not quite.
Sawalich to second. Now third as Cruz sets the mark. The 1:15.2. Nice lap for the 19.
A really healthy lap.
Alex LeBay was 9th in practice for SS Greenlight Racing.
Brent Cruz picked up nearly 2 seconds from his practice laps. We heard Corey Day talk about the delta between a fast practice lap and a great qualifying lap when they pump up the air pressures, add tape to the front end, tape up the brakes. These cars gain an immense amount of grip, but it only lasts for 1 lap. See LeBay slide it there out of 4 towards turn 7.
See the map as well, top left of the screen. As LeBay works through 8, 9, and 10 to conclude his lap. 13 of the 19 scheduled cars in this group have now taken time. Still waiting to see SVG, Sam Mayer, Carson Quapple, and Justin Allgaier, among others, in this group.
For LeBay, he basically went a 10th faster than his practice lap, so he'll be not happy with that one. You know, felt like he didn't get everything out of the race car. But as we go on board here at SVG, coming to the green.
We'll see just how good Cruz's lap is here as Shane comes down the hill, and he'll be green right there.
Struggling to get throttled, does a little brake lever adjustment here, turn 11. He is one of those drivers that will work that lever constantly through a lap. There you see a little brake lever adjustment now. Another one. Get it the right placement for up the hill to turn 1 and turn 2. You want it in a different place than you would in the max brake that you have down 11. Probably allowing a little bit more rear brake through this section of the track.
So won the pole the last 2 years here. Won the race in 24, second to Zillage last year.
And that lap by Brent was really good. The pole was 15.2 last year by this man. So we're starting to see him gain. There you go. Didn't quite get to the inside curve.
Should
a little bit.
Yeah.
Be about this final exit of the S's. This is where he was incredibly fast on our sector times. There you go.
He gained it back kind of right where you had circled. He was good. 1:15.0. Almost 2 tenths up on the 19. Nice lap for SVG. And here's Carson Quapple, 91 for DGM Racing. Way out of turn 7.
Yeah, if you're looking at the tracker, That might look like a lot, but it would be top 5 right now. Sometimes the gaps are massive. These road courses. Oh, lost a ton there. I think he just maybe oversped the first S. Gave up 3 or 4 tenths in the span of 1 corner.
Carson goes to 6th. By the way, 55 of Brad Perez, Joey Gates racing car, not going to qualify. They had a mechanical issue of some sort. And of course, if you're just joining us, Austin Green also not going to qualify. Had that big crash in practice down in turn 11.
See Shane trying to get back into his stall here. Gloves are off, I'd say.
Pretty happy with that lap. Yep.
Yeah.
As he should be. So the only one we haven't seen so far in this group is Allgaier. And he's out there right now, working his way up the hill.
That's a nice way to race. You know, you have so much speed. You're so confident, you can nail it so perfectly.
You done 10 minutes early?
You get done 10 minutes, you get out there 5 minutes later than everyone else, and you're done 10 minutes before them.
It's efficient. And I'd have to think, you know, if you're SVG, he's done this long enough now that he knows if there's more left in the tank, right? He knows that that's probably all I've got or all the cars got, and we can hang out and let the rest of these guys go out here and see if they can knock us off the top.
Justin starting his lap right now. That was that lovely noise of the curb here.
Allgaier down into turn number 11.
Oh, a lot of
rear
rear
tire chatter there.
Being turned off in the corner. It worked for him, though. Great exit. Doing a little bit back. Up the hill here towards turn 2. He cuts that a little bit more than we saw from Shane. Those nice wine grapes, we were told, by the way, on the side of that race car. Not just grape, any grape. Those are wine grapes.
There is a difference, actually.
Yeah. In wine country. It makes sense.
Allgaier's finished 6th here the last 2 races. As we said, 6.3 average finish here. So good racetrack for Justin, all things considered.
And a really smooth lap here. No big moments so far as we get towards the last section here of the S's. This has been a really solid lap. Didn't slide it too much, put some P3. Yes, it's over 7 tenths behind him. But you know what? You can be very happy at that lap because it wasn't a wheel wrong.
Yep.
It wasn't a lockup.
I just gave up too much.
Well, I guess not.
The drivers always
not happy about it.
They always know. But you're right. It's hard to. It has to be hard to compare yourself to even somebody like Brent Cruz, who's he's 2 tenths back of SVG. But there's a big gap in speed and times for these guys at the very top. But if you're Justin, like you said, just a nice, calm, solid lap with a race car that you're happy with, I think, is all that you can ask for if you're the 17.
It's easy to say I could have gotten more when you've completed the lap and they say P3. You're like, wow, there was more out there. I know, but no, I know he knows that. But it's I thought that's a fairly smooth lap, and it should definitely be at least in the top 10, possibly top 5.
Good enough for 3rd right now for Allgaier, Kim.
Yeah, and as we think about Group 2 of this qualifying effort here at Race Sonoma, Josh Bilicki will be part of Group 2, so he's getting ready to make his qualifying lap, but he's without his regular spotter this weekend, so Colin Fern is up on the spotter stand. That's because Will Rogers is actually his full-time spotter. Dylan, you mentioned earlier how Will Rogers spots for Eric Jones on the Cup side. Well, in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, he spots week to week for Josh Bilicki. And this weekend, the two were eager to tell me about a wager they have. So Will obviously behind the wheel of the 42. Last year at Race Sonoma, Josh beat Will. This year at Watkins Glen, Will beat Josh. So the score is currently tied. This is going to be the tiebreaker here this afternoon, tomorrow. The loser is responsible for buying dinner. Now, there's been a free flow of information between the two. They are in good sports, and we're laughing before practice started earlier. Josh did tell me, though, he has reminded Will, hey, remember who you spot for and who you work for week to week, but you certainly can't discount Will Rogers when it comes to Sonoma Raceway. Remember back in 2017, that head-to-head battle he had with Kevin Harvick showed his stuff, ultimately being on the losing end of that side. But then remember 2018, he actually came back the following year and won here in ARCA West. So certainly could be a force tomorrow, but I'm excited, guys, just to see what the tiebreaker is, who's gonna win and who owes the other dinner after race Sonoma tomorrow.
Josh is a good road racer as well. Parker, do you remember who
commentated on that?
Yeah, in that
2018
race?
I think it was you and I'm guessing.
I was in the pits and you were in the booth.
No way!
I think I saw some highlights of that on maybe the NASCAR social channels earlier this week. I saw it somewhere, and it was a nice little trip down memory lane.
And I do remember it vividly because that's when I discovered Will Rogers.
Yes.
Like, oh, this guy's really good. So
Maui, Hawaii native.
Yes. That's a funny story. I can't. Those two. I just can imagine turn 11 late restarts near each other. There could be some fun radio conversation the next week.
Hurt feelings potentially. Sawalich is going to give it another go here with 5 minutes remaining in Group 1.
Yeah, and he had a tough time there down in turn 11. Gave him a lot of time. It was a little wide, just like his teammate Cruz almost. But it's given up a lot of time here. We heard Connor Zillett say these tires didn't have a lot of fall off, but in qualifying, they really, these 3,400-pound cars, the good in them is that first lap. And from there, you know, unless you had a big mistake and you can be really tidy, you can often match the same lap, which he's just given up here because he knew he was on pace to basically match his lap, and that's pretty typical, but to go faster on a second lap in one of these O'Reilly cars on a road course, a sunny day like this, that's really tough to do.
Here is Will Rogers, 9th right now. Sam Mayer also back out for another run. He's 4th at the moment. Rogers headed up the hill, and Mayer in tow. Turn 2 and 3 complex here for the 42, and there's Mayer just behind him.
So Sam is attempting to go faster on this second run, and so far so good. This would be a major pickup if he's able to keep this going.
Rogers too. He's about 6 or 7 tenths up on his lap, so both of those guys going a little faster here on this second run.
Yeah, this could potentially get Sam into the top 3 if he can hold on. His final last, oh, he really threw it in there. You saw he gave up a bit of time. He had to use a lot of curb through the left to right-hander. Gets him to 4th on the board. So it's a bit of a pickup.
And still Group 2 remaining here, so 19 or 20 more cars left to see where they slot in. As Alex LeBay in the 0.
And this is what I think definitely wanted to do a second because run. He was only a 10th faster than his race run in practice that had him in the top 10. So it must have felt like did not get everything out of this race car in qualifying trim.
He's 11th right now. LeVar Scott, Dean Thompson also out there with him.
You can see how that race car is set up pretty soft. There's a lot of bouncing. You can see a lot of daylight underneath the front end when he turns off in the corner. Tells me pretty soft rear springs in this car. Picks up down the straightaway. Can also be some of the shock choices in the front end that they've made.
I love that here. I used to always see pictures right there at the top of the hill in turn 3. The guys on the curves with both tires in the air. There's always so many cool pictures and images that come out of that part of the racetrack here.
We don't quite hit that inside of turn 4 anymore, where we used to really get up 2 wheels in the air every lap. Once they repave this place, you don't want to use all that curb. You don't have to, because it's a lot faster of a corner compared to what it was in years past before the repave.
LeBay going to be on the positive side of that run. Jumps a spot up to 10th.
Dean Thompson picked up to 8th.
Here's Anthony Alfredo. 5th right now, but up on his lap.
Oh yeah, this is
Nice pickup potentially here for the 96.
It could be really big. And we see everyone lose a lot through these S's right here compared to SVG. He was one of the fastest in our sector times by far, almost 3.5 tenths.
Should go to section. Third.
Really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Qualified third last week at San Diego. Third right now in Group 1 for the 96. Cruz wants some more. Final minute. Just teeing the 91 out here. Quapple just finishing his lap.
Oh! He sent it over there at the top of the hill. He's going to pay the price down to 4. Got a little bit in the dirt. That took away the left rear grip. Oh. He was trying.
It was a good lap.
So when you go over that hill, Shane just, yeah, it's not going to get it done, bud. When you go over that hill, it is blind, and when we're on board on top of the race cars, you think you can see all that, but in the race car you can't. You're looking at the sky as he pops over this hill right there, and he had committed back to the throttle in a big way. And once you put that dirt on the left side tires, that big slide, as you go off into 4, which is already seriously grip limited, downhill, there was just no grip on the left side tires. They hadn't cleaned themselves off yet with all that dirt on them. He slides out, but that's being committed back to the throttle before you can ever see the exit over a blind crest.
Good save for Cruz. He'll settle for second. SVG fastest in Group 1. Group 2 next.
I got you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Loud and clear.
I got you.
Okay, copy.
One of 2 high water marks of the year, the other being Snowball Derby Steak Night. Then there's Ernie's 10-bar day.
Find somebody, Patrick? Yep, we could do that. Ten seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Green.
8 in line, 7 in line. 3 back from the 20, Coleman. 3 back from the 20.
Hey, bar.
Copy. Thank you. Yes, sir.
All clear. First one to fires, just into 7 now. 51 is dragging way off of you. Plenty of room here.
While we're waiting, we'll hit it with the cool down. A little more.
Pulling in front, same as before, they'll still be coming to life in 8, 9, 10. So be ready for it. 2 laps.
One lap, Marty.
If you're joining us here on our affiliates, be sure to make the switch over to the CW app at 6 p.m. That delay for the Austin Green incident, so going to run a little long here as we roll Group 2 of qualifying, but make that switch here in about 15 minutes. If you're watching on TV, head over to the app to see the conclusion of qualifying here for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Sonoma. Dylan Welch, Parker Kligerman, Carl Lemetz, Kim Kuhn with you. Everybody chasing Shane Van Gisbergen, 1:15.029. The fast lap that he set in Group 1. Connor Zilic going to get to it right away at the start of Group 2.
Yeah, first one out here. We saw Shane wait a little bit in the first group, but Connor immediately out here to set a lap. So you can see the tracker, Roy, made way through the lap with the alt start finish line. Not quite going the right direction. Ooh, and really slow there at the top of the hill. 3B, he just didn't quite have any momentum. It's almost like he got crossed up and had to park the car in the center of the corner. Oh, and a big wheel hop there, locked the rears. He is not going to be happy with this lap.
7A that time.
Still on it, but not going to be a good lap for Zilich. Come down the hill and put a time on the board, but it's only 14th that we see him again. Corey Day, fastest in practice. They did a mock run at the end of that session, but always nice to see your name on the top of the board if you're the 17 bunch. Corey ran here last year when he was on a part-time basis in this car.
It's on a really good lap right now. As we get down into turn 7, we just saw Zilich lock it up. He loses a bit there, but it's coming back into the final 2 S's. This is where SVG was so fast compared to the field.
Tracker went the wrong way there from the exit of 7, but still a nice lap. 6th for Corey Day. Ahead of some pretty good cars.
Yeah, compared to his mock, he did a mock run at the end of practice. That was a 16.3. Well, that lap that Corey Day just did was a 15.8, so a serious pickup for him. Getting used to the delta difference between a practice lap and a qualifying lap.
Parker Retzloff on the racetrack. His teammate Anthony Alfredo 3rd. And if you look at the bumper at the bottom of the screen, cars highlighted in orange are cars in this group. Retzloff on the front row last week at San Diego. Best qualifying effort for Viking Motorsports.
Yeah, both cars in the top 3 last week. I got to hang out with Anthony and Parker earlier today in the garage and just talk about that. And Parker Retzloff said, well, it was one of those few times in a road course where the car just did everything I wanted. And then I knew how to go fast. It's like, it's funny how that works, but it was I think that's, sort of downplaying the effort by this team, by him, by Anthony. That was incredible, the speed they had last week. Looking really good on this lap. His teammate right now sitting 3rd. They've got something figured out, these road courses.
Well, I spoke to Danny, and he said the same thing. He's like, it's amazing what happens when we give him a car that he's happy with and that he likes. He can go fast. So it has been a work in progress, but they feel like they have certainly made some big strides as a company, and especially on this 99 car. You're seeing the proof of that as they've been fast back-to-back weeks here. Retzloff gonna have a nice lap. Goes to 7th. Austin Hill, winner at San Diego. Track's busy right now. Sheldon Creed out there, Josh Balicki's out there, Roger Caruth is out there as well.
And Austin has been fast here in the past. I think back to, 2024 when he and Shane had a little bit of a run-in late in this race. There was an iconic shot of Shane doing a burnout by him at the top of the hill here.
I know Austin didn't like that, but that was one of the all-time iconic moments, I think.
Sort of brewed a rivalry between those two.
Yep.
That definitely they both know of. As we look at this lap, come together, just slipping away there as we got to 7 out of 4.
Still going to put him close to the far left side of the column here.
Yeah, but it's amazing to see every single car give up what they give up in those final 2 corners. So we'll go to 8th on the board.
Yeah, you're right, Parker. It's that same spot for just about everybody where Shane has been so good.
Overall, P3.
It's P3, I think, in Group 2.
Yeah, I think it was.
8th overall for the 21.
I was like, I got news for you guys. That's not overall. That's optimistic.
Corey Day is fastest of this second group with Retzloff, Austin Hill, Taylor Gray and Brandon Jones, the fastest 5 of this second bunch.
What's going to be interesting here is we saw how, Zilich's lap was really got all crossed up at the top of the hill. And we saw the other cars refire and have speed. So let's take a listen to his radio.
A couple guys did refire in the first group and go faster, like the 96. 19 was going to go faster on his refire and messed up.
Yeah. I just got loose at the end of the lap. I guess it should have been lower. Sorry.
Well, it's like we were all thinking the same thing. I was just saying.
Pictures don't lie.
Hey, there were some cars that refired pretty quick in that first group, and that's what they saw as well. So,
well, and the good news is for Zilich and Rodney Childers, they went out right away. So they're going to have 15 minutes or so here to cool this car down, saw the brake fans on, get everything a little bit more optimized, and then maybe go out near the end of this session to try to lay down a better lap.
Here we have the Jordan Anderson Racing trio, all going to use the rabbit theory together, led by Ross Chastain here with the 32. Jeb Burton following him and Blaine Perkins following Jeb. So they've decided this is the strategy. Jeb uses this almost every road course. He tries to find a rabbit to chase, and it does work out for him occasionally. So this is quite an interesting strategy. I don't think I've ever seen this out of 3 cars for a single team, all deciding that they're going to put their fastest out front and see if they can all go fast.
Ross has been good in this car this year. 3 starts in the 32, top 10s in every start. 2 of those have been at road courses. Finished 9th at Circuit of the Americas and 4th at Watkins Glen earlier this spring. It's interesting. He kind of got the curve with the left rear, it looked like there, and it shot him up the racetrack.
Yep. Oh, got probably a little deep in there into 7. You saw a little bit of lockup. It's a bit wider from the curve you might want to be. Gave up a tenth or 2 compared on the tracker.
Whoa, hang on, Ross. Wow, what a save. He was fully committed coming over the hill there. Holy smokes.
That's going after it.
Chastain goes to 12th. And can take a deep breath as he heads back to pit road. Watching Jesse Love in the 2. Goes to 7th.
Yeah, just going to miss top 5. He was flirting with it through 7, but once again lost more time there. As we take a look back here at Ross Chastain coming to the alternate start finish line, just absolutely sent it, which you can do by just getting back to the throttle super early there and just hope that it sticks, or even use more than just the racetrack, use the grass, which he did. But it looked cool. I'll give him that. It looked really cool.
A lot of times, though, it seems like when you look the coolest, you're not going as fast as you would like to be going in that instance. When you have those power slides like that, it's unfortunately is not getting the power down and going straight.
Well, he's got a food-based car here, watermelon and California almonds. And he's headed to the dirt.
Blaine has, in the other Jordan Anderson car, I think there's a wine company on the 31 car. So they've got the drinks and the snacks well under control over there.
Should have hung out at their haulers.
Yeah.
What was I doing? I didn't know. They're hooking up the cool-down rig there. There's a lot of time left. 9.5 minutes, so you could effectively cool these cars back down and do another run if you wanted to. It's more getting the engine temp cooled down, of course, because we tape them up for these laps, which means they get just about to the overheating point by the end of the lap if you've done it correctly. And then the tires, obviously, the tires and the brakes, you want to try and get as much heat out of those before you do another run, if you do try to take a second one. But let's check in with Kim.
Yeah, no, we were all surprised by Connor Zilich's lap. You're seeing that tire right there, flat right rear. That's why he's 29th on the board in terms of speed in this qualifying effort. Checked in with crew chief Rodney Childers. NASCAR is not going to let them go back out. I saw a tire being pushed down here. That was not to change to make another qualifying lap. That's just to put on the car to get it back to the garage. So that is all we will see from Connor Zilich here in this qualifying this afternoon.
So that makes a lot of sense because the way that car looked on that lap, we saw at the top of the hill in 3B, into 4, into 7, it just looked out of the racetrack uncharacteristically for something of Connor driving around a road course. And sure enough, tire with a leak like that we saw, there's no way to perform with something like that. We've seen him win a pole with a tire going down a rocket end last year. That can't happen on a road course like this. It won't, especially if it started way early in the lap. So that'll be fun to watch him come from the back.
Yep, their loss is potentially the viewers' gain tomorrow. SVG will be at the front. The one of Zilich will have some cars to pass come race time tomorrow. Their teammate, the 8 of Sammy Smith.
As he comes to the alternate start-finish line, this is going to put him just outside the top 10 in 12th. It's a solid lap. He had we had a funny conversation down in the garage this morning, just talking about San Diego, and I asked if he was done, if he'd cooled down yet from had a couple altercations, including as he was trying just to get to pit lane and let people by, got spun out down in 12, which I had happened to be in the truck race, and I knew when you were down in that section, the spotters couldn't see you. So you had to sit there and wait for the whole field to go by. It was a horrible feeling. So it was not the most fun time for Sammy Smith in that regard, but he's shown a lot of flashes of speed at these road courses, and is definitely a driver on the longer runs these road courses as a contender.
Zilich, by the way, not prohibited from going back out if he wants to. He's obviously probably not going to. They can't put a new tire on, but they're not prohibited from going back out and making another run if they wanted to. But that'll probably mark the end of the day for the one team. 6.5 minutes remaining here in this second group.
Quiet time here.
It is all calm down there right now as some of these drivers that are thinking about making a second run, just trying to do the last few cool down procedures and getting the cars ready to go, but starting to see some people climb out of the race cars down there.
Yeah, and I think the key is if you are going to run this second run, as we see the 48 of Patrick Star-Poli venturing out right there, you're going to just try and let this thing cool down as much as it possibly can, get as much heat out of the tires and the brakes, and then the engine by that point will absolutely be cooled down. So that's why you just sit there for a while and try to get as much heat as possible out.
As Star-Poli heads back out with 5.25 minutes remaining, let's head back down to Kim and hear from Brent Cruz.
Yeah, he was part of Group 1 for this qualifying effort. Currently sits second on the board. That last effort, though, looked like it was going to be a pole-winning lap. How did the car get away from you?
Yeah, we just were a little loose there. Our first lap was really good, too, and got loose again. So we have a super fast Mobil 1 Toyota GR Supra. I'm really excited for the race tomorrow. Get to battle with some really great drivers and get to go at it. So, yeah, it sucks we didn't get the pole there, but it's all right. We have a long race tomorrow.
And great attitude from him again. I know last week was tough for a number of reasons. Had the opportunity to jump in the Cup car.
It's all right. We have a long race tomorrow. For the race tomorrow, get to battle with some really great drivers and get to go at it. So, yeah, it sucks we didn't get the pole there. But Toyota GR Supra. I'm really excited for the race tomorrow. Get to battle with some really great drivers and get to go at it. So, yeah, it sucks we didn't get the pole there, but it's all right. We have a long race tomorrow.
Nursing that wrist injury, that just kind of got away from them.
There off of 10 at very high rate of speed. The way that car wiggled and slithered into 7, or into 10, sorry, and just looked like he was chasing the rear end of it all the way out to the grass. Got it back just barely, but gave up a lot of time for the second attempt.
I thought Patrick did a great job last week. We saw him at some points late in the race inside the top 10. Got shuffled out there at the end and ultimately finished 20th. But he was mixing it up there at one point near the front of the field. Did a great job.
He was, but he learned another lesson in this year of lessons, which was locking up the tires. They ended up blowing one of the tires, had to come in pit That's why they lost so much.
Just a reminder, about ready to sign off of our affiliates here, but you can join us over on the CW app for the conclusion of qualifying. Final 3.5 minutes. We'll wrap it up over there on the app at the top of the hour, with Shane Van Gisbergen, Brent Cruz, and Anthony Alfredo, the top 3 right now, but plenty of other heavy hitters here in this second group, still with a shot in the final minutes and the run for the pole before we race tomorrow. Final 3 minutes of qualifying here at Sonoma. Watching Parker Retzloff chase after the time set by Shane Van Gisbergen.
That was a big pickup for Sheldon Creed up in the top 10. He was outside the top 15 before that. So this track's got pace. There's a lot of these guys that cool them down. They have the ability to improve, as you see Parker Retzloff on a really good lap right now. Flirting with just lost a bit there. Was flirting with being in the top 3, like his teammate gets all the way out in the dirt.
Still might slide into the top 5. Wow. He does. 4th.
Viking Motorsport 2 weeks in a row.
So impressive. 2nd and 3rd last week. 3rd and 4th as we sit right now, with just over 2 minutes remaining. Here's Jesse Love.
Jesse's on a really good lap. According to our tracker, just 2/10 off the poles. We're heading down towards turn 7.
Yeah, and plenty of buffer here, even if he loses time out of 7 and through the front of the S's. Tracking for 3rd right now.
Really good turn 7. Held station, lost nothing.
Taylor Gray on a good lap too. Other side of the course, Love did lose some time, but still nice lap. 5th quick for the 2. Good pickup from their first run. Taylor Gray on a good lap as well. Tracking for inside the top 3.
And really, we've seen it here. If they can hold station through turn 7 on that tracker, it gives them a little bit of that buffer, which he did. It's about 1/10 better than what we saw in Jesse Love. Hits those inside curves, bounces it. Now into the final corner, come the alternate start finish line. He's hard on the throttle.
Gonna be a good lap.
Oh yeah.
3rd for the 54. Here's Retzloff. 110% right there.
That's awesome. Beautiful.
Never got out of the throttle. Ross Chastain, he's had an adventurous last couple of laps. Did the same thing that we just saw Retzloff do a few laps ago.
They want to be out there.
Corey Day is on the clock. I believe going to be the last one to put a time in here, as the clock is winding down. About 30 seconds remaining here.
Yep, even when that clock expires, he'll be able to finish this lap. The only other car out there is Harrison Burton, who's far ahead of him.
Day was fastest in practice. Did a mock run at the end. And picked up time even from that, his first run in this qualifying session earlier in the session. 9th on the board right now, but better than that here as he works into 7.
You can see where some of the time loss is happening is the braking zones of some of these corners. That's one of the things that young drivers who don't have a lot of road course experience have to continually work on, is how they apply those brakes. As he gets to the last corner here, the alternate start finish line.
Well done. 6 quick.
Well done. Really good lap.
After a tough last couple weeks for that 17 team, that's just what they needed. 6th for Corey Day. Quickest for Shane Van Gisbergen. 6th career pole and 3rd straight pole position here at Sonoma, Carla.
That's right. 6 career pole, all of those coming on road courses for you. You set that lap a while ago, though. Did you learn anything about the rest of the field watching everybody go?
Yeah, well, firstly, thanks to Junior Motorsports and Superfile. My car was really good today, and my lap was pretty good. Still a little bit left, but not too much. I think the 19's really fast. If he put it together, he's going to be a problem tomorrow. And then, of course, Connor too. But stoked. Really good place to start.
What more do you need from your car? And obviously you mentioned the 19 being really good. He's looking forward to racing you too. That's got to be pretty exciting.
A few little things, and then tidy some stuff up myself. You know, driving these cars every now and then, it takes a while to refine it. So I'll be better tomorrow too.
Kim. And for the second straight week, we see Anthony Alfredo showing speed in qualifying. For the second straight week, both Viking Motorsports cars qualifying in the top 5. What do you attribute the gains you guys have made on road courses to?
Honestly, just teamwork. I can't say enough about Viking Motorsports, everybody here, how hard they work to get to where we need to be. We're certainly heading in the right direction these last couple weeks, and have both cars nose to tail in qualifying, second and third last week, fourth and fifth this week. And, you know, have a shot to win last week was a huge accomplishment. That's just good momentum for us coming into this race, and I feel like this one could potentially go just as well for us if we play our cards right. It's a little bit of a tougher field here with Shane and Connor, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. Our Poop to Cold Dude Wipe Chevrolet's got the speed. We had to work on it in practice. It wasn't as fast as our car in San Diego last week until we stuck a couple wrenches in it, but feeling good now with how that qualifying session ended, and just blessed to do what I love for a living. I've got so many people to thank that allow me to do this, not just Viking Motorsports, but all of our partners, and I don't take it for granted. So all the glory to God, praying for a great race tomorrow.
Anthony starts P4 tomorrow.
Just can't say enough about the Viking guys. Second full-time season for that organization in the second week in a row. They've got both cars in the top 5. SVG scores the 500th pole for Chevrolet in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
One other thing to note there about Viking, they have an affiliation with RCR. They're faster than both those cars. So.
Good point.
So we go to the next page here. You got Sheldon Creed there on the inside of row 6. Brandon Jones, Ross Chastain, who had that exciting finish to his lap. Carson Kvapil, who's always been fast at the road courses, so expect him to make a lot of passes here.
Second half of the field, Raja Karuth making his first start here. Connor Zilic there, the one to keep your eye out for outside of row number 15 with some work to do tomorrow.
It's going to be fun to watch him carve his way through the field as quick as possible. LeVar Scott there on the inside of 16. We saw a little spin out of him in practice. Obviously, Austin Green there, who had that horrific moment down at the end of into turn 11 in practice. And Brad Perez bringing up the rear of the field there.
Well, we had a little bit of everything today. Exciting moments, some big crashes. Certainly glad to see Austin Green up and out of the 87 car. We'll see him tomorrow. And this was just one of the moments. Saw Brent Cruz off the racetrack. He and several others had their hands full in an exciting practice and qualifying session today. We'll see you tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing from Sonoma. Shane Van Gisbergen will lead the field of green.